Allen family, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. This is your brother Abdurrahman Bashir coming from my home office over here in Allen, Texas. This is obviously a background that you are not accustomed to. Well, I'm here to say now get used to it. Subhanallah, who could have imagined that us as a community, or any community in the United States and abroad for that matter, who could have thought that we would be experiencing a total shutdown of the masjid? And just the announcement of shutting down Jumu'ah, if that wasn't already a tough pill to swallow, now we're at pretty much ground zero. Subhanallah, when I had announced on Friday night that Salatul Fajr is going to change starting from Monday, Insha Allah, to 6:30, it really hit me after that announcement, the depth of inshallah, like the phrase inshallah that usually rolls off our tongues in normal conversation, and rightfully so. Sometimes, if not you, I've definitely said it in front of non-Muslim acquaintances or people I know. But subhanallah, now the word inshallah has so much more depth to it. There's so much more intensity behind the meaning of inshallah, if Allah wills. You know, things like Jumu'ah, things like praying in the masjid being there, the masjid being open. These are things that we have become accustomed to expect, and this is an accepted reality that these things are there, like Jumu'ah. Yeah, I'm gonna pray Jumu'ah. Yeah, inshallah, next week Jumu'ah, I'm gonna pray Jumu'ah after that, and after that, and after that. It's never a question, whether I should pray Jumu'ah or not. Obviously, unless you're sick or traveling, etc., etc. We're not talking about that. In normal circumstances, yeah, I'm going for Jumu'ah, inshallah. The only question is where you're going for Jumu'ah, and that answer now is nowhere. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us through these very dire and very dire times where, we we're all left out in the cold, subhanallah. And I'm here to remind myself and my brothers and sisters that, the thing that will keep us above water, the thing that will navigate us in these choppy waters, is our faith. Our faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We always profess it, no shadow of a doubt. We believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the creator of all. He is the giver, He is the taker. We believe in all of that, yes. We hear it all the time, we say it all the time, but now we feel it, we feel it more now than ever, subhanallah. We are constantly encouraged in Surah Kahf, وَلَا تَقُولَنَّ لِشَيْءٍ إِنِّي فَاعِلٌ ذَلِكَ غَدًا. Don't ever say, ever, وَلَا تَقُولَنَّ, don't ever say you're going to do something tomorrow, إِلَّا أَن يَشَاءَ اللَّهُ, except with the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the lesson that we are being reminded right now is that the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prevails over all wills. The planning of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the qada and qadr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it prevails over all of our planning and all of our schedules and everything that we had planned. I mean, there were many people who had planned to go for Umrah, my parents including. They're coming back tomorrow morning, and it was my dad's wish and dream to visit the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on his way back, but that's a reality that unfortunately did not happen, and we don't know when it will happen. And we just ask and pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that all those who had all their lofty intentions to do, whether it's Umrah or whatever they had, whatever good they had in mind, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant them the reward and ajr in full and multifold for all of the things that we intended to do, for all of the khidmah that we intended to do. But I'm here to tell you, brothers and sisters, that although we don't have our four walls, we are still an ummah. We are an ummah without the four walls of the masjid, in and outside the four walls of the masjid. I remind myself of the time in the seerah of the Prophet ﷺ where, the Muslims did not have the early Muslim ummah for many, many years, apart from the house of Al-Arqam radiallahu anhu, which was across enemy lines. They didn't really have a place to freely, openly congregate, And it was only in Medina that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala opened the doors for that, and now we find ourselves behind, on the other side of closed doors, subhanallah. But that doesn't mean that we are left alone, out in the cold, because we have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and we have each other for us. And with that being said, brothers and sisters, I want all of us to keep in mind that as we are taking care of ourselves, as we are buying our supplies, as we are stocking and whatever it is that what we're doing, and inshallah I'm going to talk about that in another video. As we are doing these things, and for those who have the flexibility in your time and your resources, please remember our elderly and our ill ones, and those who are already in financial strain in our community. My parents are coming back tomorrow. Their house is clean, their fridge is stocked up. They are going to have, inshallah, everything that they need for the near future. And even if they don't have something, Abdurrahman, beta, they got me. Brothers and sisters, there are many elderly, there are many uncles, aunties, ammus, khaltis who don't have anyone. They may have children, but they don't live here. They're far away, they're overseas. Whatever the situation may be, it doesn't matter what the situation is. If we know someone out there who we have interacted with in the community, and if you have their contact number, please reach out to them. If you don't have their contact number, get their contact number. And for those of us who are viewing this video, from amongst our elderly, please reach out to us from amongst the ill, the most vulnerable. Like, imagine, for me as a son, I don't want my parents going out into the grocery stores. I don't want my parents leaving their home, to fulfill any of their necessities and needs, apart from walking around the house. But, to go out for something, I want to be there for them. Brothers and sisters, the Prophet ﷺ has told us, whoever does not have mercy on our young and does not show honor and respect, وَلَمْ يُوَقِّرْ كَبِيرَنَا فَلَيْسَ مِنَّا, they are not from amongst us. We have to be from amongst that team, that ummah of the Prophet ﷺ that shows this honor and respect to our elders by reaching out to them, by helping them out, by seeing what they need. Brothers and sisters, don't allow a single, we should not hear of an elderly, person in our community or someone vulnerable. We shouldn't receive the news that, it shouldn't get to the point where we find out that they have been in a dire situation. So let's try to address these needs. There are many things that are going around in the community, inshallah, that I'm sure will come across your ears as far as organized efforts. But right now, my appeal is to everyone to reach out, call that uncle, call that auntie. What do you need? Is everything okay? Keep up with them. Many of them are not going to reach out of shyness or for whatever reason. Let us be the ones who reach out to our elderly. And that's my message for tonight. Jazakumullahu khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.